Yeah, he's taking the company jet.
There you go.
Awesome.
All that
So,
stock I
hey-
bought in Southwest is paying off.
Yeah. So Eric, you can let everybody in.
All righty.
So Jarek, what part of the world are you in today?
Puerto Rico.
Nice. How's the weather there today?
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's warm
Nice.
and tropical and beachy and sunny, like most people dream about when they get stuck in the cold.
That's
Oh,
awesome. Yeah,
man.
I'm going to St. Louis where apparently it's 30 degrees or something.
That's
Hence
where
the
people
jacket.
dream about it from.
Yeah. We got some snow up here. I'm close to Lake Tahoe. We got some snow here in Lake Tahoe area. Got some skiing in this last weekend.
Very cool.
Good morning. Good morning, Alice. Good morning. How's it going, Jackie? We're going to let everybody in here. Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Absolutely. Great to see everybody. At 9:03, I'm going to get this thing rocking and rolling here. We're blessed to have a very, very special guest that's carved out some time for us today. And so I'll hold off about 30 more seconds. We're up to about 40 people now. Should be getting more and more coming in. So
Thanksgiving is in 8 more days. So
Yeah.
excited about that.
it's crazy.
We're just so thankful. A lot to be thankful for, right?
Absolutely.
Eric, I like your
man.
hat.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's
Well,
cool.
cool. Hey, let's get
Thanks.
going. Yeah. I'm going
Derek.
to turn it over to Matthew. Welcome, everyone. Matthew, let's rock and roll.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, great to see you on our Atomic Team Meeting live every Wednesday, 9 a.m. until 9:30. Hold on one second. I got an announcement.
Please. Okay, so those of you, please turn on your video so we can see your moneymaker unless
That's
you're in
right.
the shower.
That's right. Turn on your moneymaker. Anyway, we are blessed to have Mr. Jarek Robbins in our presence today and joining on our meeting. Jarek has been in personal development and coaching for many decades, and perfect timing. Wouldn't you know, as soon as I'm doing the intro, she's been quiet all day, but here we go. Anyway, so I'm going to step aside, but Jarek is the president of Success Coaching, and both myself and Don Yoakum and Randy Bird are certified success coaches. And so we're blessed to be here with Jarek. So Jarek, thank you so much for taking the time, and you're going to talk about performance and success, and we're excited. Thank you.
You're welcome. First off, I like to have interaction, so I'd love to get to know you all. What is the number one thing you're focused on right now in your life or business? If you wouldn't mind throwing it, I like your polka dots. They're pretty cool. What is the number one thing going on in your life or business right now? Meaning, and I'd say it another way. If your life could talk or your business could talk, what would it tell me is the number one thing that needs to be solved for, that once solved for would cause all your dreams to come true? Frank says helping more people. So Frank, if you could help more people, it would cause all of your dreams to come true.
That's correct.
Cool. How many more?
Oh, at least 20 to 25.
Okay. Frank needs to help 20 to 25 more people. Troy says systems and commitment to them. Don says being proactive. Brett says delegation and hiring a rock star. Megan, staying motivated and dedicated to my goals. Jackie, consistent lead gen for agent attraction. Patrick, building relationships. Okay. Well, I know there's more of you than these 10. Build sphere. What else? What's the one thing that if you could solve for would cause everything to really line up for the goals you have? Getting our database 100% accurate, lower interest rates, positive growth in every aspect of my life. I love it. I love it. And so looking at all these things, Eric says dealing with growth, keeping chaos limited and organized without losing sanity, growing with systems. Awesome. So most people look like growth is a theme family issues to get out of my way, successful leaders in my organization, get out of my head, getting better with following up. Got it. And so most of these, if we look at something, are these more doing or being? And try this on for size. Who do you have to become that would cause those results to happen effortlessly? Because I'm looking at what most of you are writing, and most of you are writing doing. I need to go get 40 people on my front line. I need to add 25 agents. I need to build systems. I need to scale my business. These are all actions. They're doing things. What kind of person would you need to become that all of that stuff would happen naturally? Because for most of us, when you do the internal work and you become the type of person, all of a sudden the external results show up. Think of cause and effect. Who do you need to become that would become the cause to naturally create all the effects you want in your life? Who do you need to become? Now, if we look at who you need to become, this is part we can control. We can control who we become. We can control what we choose to read. We can control what we choose to learn. We can control who we surround ourselves with. If you want to write something down, who you surround yourself with is who you become. Harvard research shows the people you spend consistent time with over a long period of time determines how happy you are, how long you live, and how much you make. And I went, oh, shoot. I started looking at the people around me and getting real picky on who was around me, because that determines, again, I'll say how long you live, how happy you are, and how much you make. And I went, shoot, how happy are the people around you? Because if you average out the top 5 or 10 people and you average their level of day-to-day happiness, that probably equals what your happiness is. And I just had a weird epiphany. I said, what would happen if I picked 10 extremely happy people to spend consistent time with? I'd probably be pretty freaking happy all the time, purely by association. What if I picked 10 really funny people to be around and all day we just laughed? Well, science shows when you laugh constantly, it actually has a medicinal healing effect on the nervous system in the body. There's a person who healed themselves from cancer by laughter therapy. Now I went, that's a new twist. That's totally different than hanging out with 12 people who are stressed out all the time, right? That's a whole different effect. I mean, what if you surrounded yourself with 10 people who were just constantly in absolute and pure gratitude? Like, I'm so grateful I get to be alive. I'm so grateful I'm here today. I'm so grateful for this breath in my body. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for being on my team. Thank you for being part of this. I can't believe I get another opportunity. At 20 years old, I was told I had 6 days left to live. And I heard a quote that says, I wasn't given a second chance just to waste it on being mediocre. And I went, whew, I'm going to adopt that thought process. I didn't think about it till I read the quote. But once I read it, I was like, I was given a second chance. Shoot, I'm going to be extraordinary. I almost died once. I might as well do all the things that I thought about doing. I almost lost the chance to do them anyways. I might as well go for it. And then I asked the crazy question, who could I start surrounding myself with that would give me an entirely different experience of life? If you've read the book, Who Not How, who could you get on your team that would instantly add those 25 people? There's a who out there that would effortlessly add 25 people. I came over to Success and they asked me to launch Success Coaching. We sold more coaching in one event than they did the entire 9 months of last year as a department. I was the right who for this department. I know how this department works. I've spent 20 years of my life building coaching organizations, so I understand how that works. We've been able to do more than they could do in all 9 months of their effort, and we did it literally in like 3 days. And I went, okay, that's cool. And it wasn't my magic power at all. I knew which who's to bring with me to make that magic happen. So when they asked me to be one of their who's, I immediately made my list of who's that I needed. And as soon as I put those who's in the right place, everything happened. And they gave me a lot of credit. And I was like, I I just knew which who's to bring with me. And for a lot of y'all in EXP, you need to spend a little bit more time on your who's instead of your hows. Because I've watched most of you, and when I list what did you need to do, most of you all wrote the hows. Here's all the hows I need to do. Here's all the what things I need to go do. But very few of you said, you know what? I need to go find a who that can do the following 12 things for me effortlessly. I remember I met a guy who had a few $100 million net worth in multifamily property. I was on a board group with him where I was on his board and he was on mine. And I remember I sat with him and I asked him, I said, how did you get $60 million of net personal assets and hundreds of millions of dollars of multifamily assets? And he says, I was a real estate agent. And I was like, okay, note to self, maybe becoming an agent is a good idea. I said, tell me more. What did you sell? He said, I only sell commercial properties and I only sell giant multifamily. Think $100 million plus buildings. It's like, note to self, I need to figure out how to sell a $100 million apartment building. I said, is it hard? He says, yeah, it's competitive, but if I could do it, you could do it. And I went, okay, cool. And I said, then what? And he said, in the beginning, I would sell it, make a bunch of money, make a couple $1 million on a $100-200 million sale. They capped how much I could make. So I'd make my full cap, I'd make my full earnings. And then usually I said, when you were young, did you immediately start buying multifamily? He was like, no, I had a great car and a great lifestyle and awesome family trips. And he's like, I blew all the money. And I started laughing. I was like, okay, note to self, don't spend all the money. And I said, then what? And he says, at one point, something clicked in my head. I had a light bulb moment. And the light bulb moment was, I'm going to start co-investing with all these investors who are buying these giant buildings. And he did. He would make a couple $1 million, co-invest it, make a couple $1 million, co-invest it, make a couple $1 million, co-invest it. Pretty soon they sold one of the buildings. His 2 million turned into more millions. And then he had a bunch. And he said something to me that's really important around psychology and around performance. He said, I remember the day where I had enough money to do it on my own and I no longer needed my partners. And I said, what did you do? And he says, I decided to put less of my money in and allow them to put as much money as they wanted in because they're the ones that gave me the opportunity. And I wrote that down and I said, one of the most important lessons is not cutting out the people who gave you the chance to get to where you are. I went, oh, going back, someone said building relationships was their most important thing. And I said, so often we get opportunities where people give us a chance to start growing. And then when we get to a certain size, we kind of cut them off and our ego kicks in and we could do it on our own. We don't need them anymore. And he said, one of the most important things, when I had the opportunity where I no longer needed them, I doubled down on the relationship because that was the most important part. And I went, there it is. There it is. The epiphany was when money becomes more important than the people, things are about to go wonky. When money becomes more important than people, things are about to get wonky. Because if he would have chose money over people, he would have done the deal himself, cut out the partners who gave him a chance to climb, and he would have missed out on hundreds of millions of dollars of future growth because they would not have kept helping him grow. But because they gave him a chance where he had the full choice to cut them out or stick with it, and he stuck with the relationship, they opened up a whole nother category that he didn't know existed, which caused rampant growth far beyond what he ever thought was possible. And I went, whoa, major, major lesson on performance. Life will give you a test. How will you do? That was nothing more than life giving him a test and an opportunity saying, hey, I've given you enough that you no longer need the people who helped you. Are you going to choose the people or are you going to choose the profit? And if he would have chosen the profit, the people would have gone away and he would have no longer had the opportunity. And he chose the people, and the people opened up opportunities 100 times bigger than any profit he could have made on his own. And I went, there it is. There it is. Isn't that an interesting paradigm? How many of you have had a moment thus far in your career where you've had the chance to choose between people or profits? How many of you realized it was a test? How many of you failed the test? Few. How many of you passed or had another opportunity since then and went, ooh, I got it right this time? I could tell you from experience, I've done both. I've royally messed that one up. I've chose profits over people and absolutely burned bridges that I look back and go, dang it, that was a horrible bridge to burn. And I've chose people over profits and have partners with me now who they make things happen that I could have never, ever, ever figured out on my own. And their relationship with me is worth more than any amount of money that could ever come into my life. Because I know together we can figure stuff out. And as long as we keep figuring it out, we'll make more happen than anything I could ever figure it out on my own. Is this useful conversation so far? Good, good. As far as performance, I believe, has a lot to do with the people that you hold closely in your community. Someone told me, and I saw this on Instagram the other day, if you took a horse that was injured and you put that horse in a group of healthy horses, that horse heals much faster than if you would have left it alone. And they said, what's really interesting, if you take a horse that was injured and put it into a group of injured horses, the horse takes near to forever to heal. And I said, that's interesting. That's interesting. One of my friends taught me this concept called the 33% rule. And the 33% rule was, if you look at your peer group, the people you purposefully choose to spend time around, could you say that 33% of that group are people who are ahead of you in the concept that you're currently working on? Could you say that 33% of that group are currently people at the exact same moment of the journey as you, and you can kind of trade what's working and what's not with them? And could you say that 33% of your peer group are 5 steps behind you, and your job is to give them the info you've discovered to help them catch up? And if you've built a powerful and proper peer group, you have 33% ahead of you, 33% in the same moment, and 33% a few steps behind you. Your job is to learn from the ones who are ahead of you, to trade secrets with the ones on the same plane as you, and to help all the ones who are a step or two behind you catch up. And if you were to do that, as you progress, all of a sudden, you constantly seek that new person who's the 1-2 steps ahead of you. Now, the interesting part is it fair to say that everyone in this group is probably 5 steps ahead of someone else in the group on a specific topic in life? Meaning there's certain people in here in their marriage could probably share with us things that all of us would be just taking pages of notes on and be like, oh, gold. Dang, I didn't know that was going to happen. Everyone in here, there's someone in here health-wise who could share some stuff that all of us would be going, holy Moses, I need to do that. All of us in here, business-wise, there's someone in this room who could give us business strategy that would blow our minds. The question is, have we created a place where conversation is regularly happening and we're able to clearly tap into the knowledge that we need when we need it? Have we created a place where there's regular flow of conversation that you can instantly ask a question? I think it was Henry Ford. He got pulled into court and the court says, "How you think you're the smartest person in the world?" And he said, "No, I don't." And they're like, well, you've built this huge company and you think you know all the answers. He goes, "No, I don't. But see this little panel of buttons? I can press a button and one of the smartest people on earth will come running into the room and have an answer to just about any question I can come up with." Have you created a place that you can post a question and within moments, they will crowdsource the answer you need? That'd probably be a really smart thing to do. We have one. If you want to join it with Success, it's just success.com/community. We have a big growing community of people who are all striving to be happy, healthy, strong, and fulfilled, that literally you post a question, bingo, people pop right back with answers. And again, I might not know all the answers, but Dan might, or Tom might, or Clark might, or Megan might, and instantly we can solve stuff. Hold on one second. I'm going to do something a little bit selfish. I'm in a competition with someone in this group. I'm going to create a welcome link and I'm going to throw it in the chat box if that's okay. I'm just trying to beat people on how many people we invited to the group. I'm at 20 and Debbie, Glenn's other half, is at like 19 right now. So I'm trying to stay ahead of Debbie if that's okay with y'all. And you could tell her I said that because I know she's competing too. But community. Have you created a community where you can post a thought or a question and instantly get the feedback you need? Because the people you surround yourself with who quickly can share information will help you move much faster than anything else. Now, I promised I would talk about performance, so I'm going to shortcut you real quick and just give you an outline. I'll throw some music on too. If you're looking for performance, oh, that doesn't look good at all. I don't know why it messed up my colors. My iPad's doing something funky on the colors to me over here. But I'll go through it real quick. Let's start here. So if you want mental, emotional, physical, financial, business, or relationships, if you want to increase performance, one, I would start with pick the topic that's most important to you. So whatever topic on here is the topic that you're looking to improve upon, just pick that. And then ask yourself this. Number one, do you have a crystal clear 10-year North Star vision on that topic? So if you were working on your health, do you have a crystal clear 10-year health vision for where you want to be in your health? If you were working on building your team, do you have a crystal clear 10-year vision of exactly where you want your team to be? If you're working on your relationship, crystal clear 10-year vision of exactly what you want your relationship to be. Number two, do you have a roadmap? Now, a roadmap, this might be your 12-month, your 3-year, and then all the way back up to your 10-year vision of your roadmap. Here's the road. Here's the yellow brick road that's going to get me to Oz of where I want to land up 10 years from now. So in that category, have you mapped out your roadmap? You know exactly where you want to be along the journey. Next up, have you come up with your 20-mile march, your daily habits, the things you commit to doing every single day? And for most of us, we only need 3 daily habits we lock in on that category of our life. These are the 3 things I do no matter what every single day in this category, like clockwork. From there, if you come up a level, have you made it easy, fun, and accessible to do those daily habits? There's nothing like things that are hard, boring, and very difficult to do that somehow people set as their habits. So you need to make them fun, easy, and accessible. Have you tied a big purpose statement around it, a big why? The reason why it's an absolute must to do. Have you learned how to emotionally stir up pain and pleasure to get yourself all fired up about it each day and drive yourself into action? From there, do you have some type of measurement in place where you can see the trends and patterns? Did it get better or worse this month compared to last month? If it got better, how much did it get better? If it got worse, how much did it get worse and why? From there, have you set up your environment to win? There's nothing like trying to lose 15 pounds and then keeping, 5 tubs of Ben and Jerry's in the freezer all the time. That's really difficult. You got to get rid of the temptation. You got to clean out the freezer. You got to set up the environment that actually helps you win. We talked about 33%. Have you surrounded yourself with people who you're learning from, you're living it with, and then you're sharing it with and helping them catch up? At this point, have you optimized? Have you been able to master the skill where you can do more with less effort? How many of you at this stage of business can get more done with like 2 phone calls than you used to be able to do an entire week's worth of effort? Just by raise of hands. How many? Yeah, you've optimized. You know what to do now. You've been in it long enough that 2 phone calls can get more progress than 7 days worth of effort of the old you. Finally, this is a big one that most of us mess up: pit stops. How far and how fast can you go before you need to stop and refuel? If you think of an F1 race car, they have 19 to 25 people on a pit team. How many people do you have on your pit team? Most of us go, oops. Meaning, when you sprint and you need to stop and refuel your tank, who do you need to spend time with that will mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually refuel you? And how fast can they do it? Meaning, can you pull off the track and it takes an average team 15 seconds to flip out 4 tires with a full tank of gas and get a car back on the speedway? How fast can you refuel your tank, and who needs to be there to help you do it? Identity. Have you become the type of person that the inside creates the external results? Have you embodied it and owned the results you're going after? You became the type of person that effortlessly and naturally creates the results you desired. It's an inside game. Finally, flow state. Have you gotten and learned how to get into a place where when you're doing your work, time disappears, you disappear, and nothing else matters? You blink and the day went by and you went, I don't even know what happened to the time. I was in love with the moment. I loved every moment of it. Mastery. Each time you pull the lever, you get the result. And finally, how you know you've really mastered something, you learn that you've become an eternal student of it forever. You commit to always learning more about it and reading and learning everything you possibly can on the topic. And when you think you've read it all, you literally go hunt for more. And then you go reread the old books and realize it's a brand new book because you're a different stage of life. Therefore, it's a different book, because you'll hear things and see things you never saw the first time you read it because you weren't ready for those things at that stage of your life. That's an eternal mastery student, someone who goes back and rereads the things they've read years ago only to find out it's a whole new lesson for them at this stage of their life. So my question is, whatever category of life you're working on, how many of you found at least 1 or 2 things you probably need to activate and put in place? Right? Someone asked me, what do you do with people? How does coaching work? What do you do? And I was like, well, let me sum it up. And so I built this and I summed up the most important things someone needs to put in place. And in my experience so far, if someone puts this in place for all 6 of these categories of their life, what do you think the results land up looking like? And I'll say it a different way. I have yet to meet a person that has a 10-year vision, 12-month and 3-year goals, daily habits that are activated, driven by purpose with emotional rocket fuel. They're measuring and trending better. Their environment set up to win. They have a powerful peer group. They've optimized, do regular pit stops. Their identity is dialed in. They're in flow state. They're truly committed to mastery, and they're constantly improving. Who just sucks at that category of life? Anyone I've met that puts all those things in place in any category of life tends to have world-class results over time. And so I kind of narrowed this down for people and said, here's the what. Here's exactly what you need to do if you want results in any category of life. But what needs to then get connected with why? Why is it important for you to dial that part of your life in? Because if you don't have a strong enough why and you don't have a burning desire and a passion to go after it, you most likely won't put in the work to do all the whats. So if you can find the right why to inspire you to do it, usually that's the path. Ooh, bless you. If you need support, for some people, showing them that much that fast is a little overwhelming and their brain is like, whoa, too much. If you need support, there's people like Don, who's one of our success coaches. He would be a great human. Matthew, success coach, great human to reach out to and engage in one-on-one coaching to help put all those pieces in order and help with a sounding board to talk through how to bring all of those elements to life within your life and business. I'd highly recommend reaching out to them and saying, hey, what does coaching look like with you? And could you help me get all that stack of stuff lined up in my life? And I guarantee it's a game changer once you dial it in. I think my time is up. So I'm going to say thank you for having me. Can I get a thumbs up if this was useful? Awesome. Awesome.
This was so awesome. Jarek, thank you. Thank you so much. That was amazing. If any of you have any questions, reach out to either Don, Matthew, or Jarek. Now, don't forget, now that we got our inspiration, now is the time to put in the perspiration. At 9:45 here in 15 minutes, we've got dialing for dollars for 2 hours. Here's the link. We all lock in, zoom in, and have conversations. Right now, it's all about, just like Jarek said, it's all about relationships and connecting with others. Choose people over profit. So thank you all. Love you all. Have a great day. See you later.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Bye now.